every time I come into your home, I see something different because you have put your own personal touches to that. And I think that's really, really important for our buyers to understand in Whispering Pines. It doesn't mean to spend the most money, whether it's, you know, a designer wall, but taking a paint color and even having the builder do it and paying for that upgrade, or living in your space for a little bit. So talk to me about this. This is something that as a realtor, I tell my clients and customers all the time.
Yeah.
If you're unsure, live in your space. I know for you, didn't you tell me you were sitting without cabinet hardware in your kitchen for months because you didn't know what you wanted to do?
Yes. Unfortunately, because my husband was not happy about that, but it was at least 2 months after we moved in, I had no kitchen or master bathroom cabinet hardware because I agonized over every piece of hardware that was going to go on there. Not that I suggest going without cabinet hardware, but something as simple as a piece of cabinet hardware can kind of change the look or feel of a particular cabinet or a room. You can kind of highlight something or make it an accent just with a piece of hardware.
It's like art. You said it was like jewelry.
Like the jewelry of your cabinets.
I think the jewelry of your cabinets, I'm going to start using that. I'm going to have to say, you know, I'm going to have to give you, you know, credit for saying that. But
I would like some royalties off that.
I will. But it's so great because for us, we sit in these design appointments and we have wonderful vendors that we work with.
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
can pick out, or a builder may have a design center. And in the production world, unlike your home, which is truly custom, and as you know, because you do all levels, all incomes, they pick out the hardware and they get caught up on that. And I feel like you feel, get something that's great for the time being, maybe not be without hardware, not for 2 months, but pick something that's cost effective within your budget, within the allowance set by the builder, live in your space. And then is there a number of places that you could encourage people to look at that where they can find their own jewelry?
Right. Lowe's and Home Depot actually have a pretty good selection of different finishes, different sizes, and things like that, of different cabinet hardware. And I mean, you can even look online. Some of the nicer, more high-end brands that some of the cabinet shops order from, which you may not feel comfortable going into a cabinet place and asking them about hardware because maybe they didn't do your cabinets to begin with, you know, or you feel like, oh, I just want to look at hardware.
I want to be left alone. I don't want to be pitched or sold.
Right.
That's something where I completely agree. And as we went through your home, I mean, we went from your formal dining room, and then we went into your study, and then we went into your wet bar, and then we went to your bathroom, and every knob was different. Every handle was different. And for me, I've always been very matchy myself, and you've tried to get me out of that.
Right.
Because you don't need to do that. And as I look at your hardware, it literally sets the tone for your entire home. As we continue talking about details, the one thing that I am obsessed with in your personal home is that Pecky cypress. As I go from your formal living room outside of your foyer into your kitchen, I can't help but stop and look at that detail. Now I know, because we're personal friends, that you were tedious on all this cypress throughout your home, and it's not just in the archways.
Right.
So I can't help but stop and think, for my clients that are under 500, or even those above it, I mean, you don't have to be at any price point to do anything.
Right.
As an interior designer, what would you suggest that buyers can do in 2021 going forward to get that value feeling like I did when I walked through your Pecky cypress?
Well, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be something like Pecky cypress that's a more rare wood, because it's pulled out of a swamp and is eaten away by a fungus and milled, and
I didn't know any of that
so
when you
much
did that.
that goes
amazing.
into it.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
And then a lot that goes into the finish of it and cleaning all those little holes, and you know.
And
but,
you did all that because
yes.
you have that skill set. So I mean, you know, it amazes me still that you do that. When I was walking into your formal dining room, your walls caught my attention. There is this hand-painted gold detail. Now, of course, even in Whispering Pines or neighborhoods like that, the builder's not going to go in there and hand paint, which you did. I know that you did that. But talk to me about how the difference between your formal dining room and your study look amazing, similar walls, but dramatically different. Talk to me about how you did that, or how one could do that after they have closed.
So in our dining room, I did a heavier trim, a paneled molding. It's a recessed panel, so it's a raised board and then the trim around it. Very detailed, and we spent some money on that. Part of the reason why we did that is because my husband and I are both in love with and obsessed with old historic homes, and that's what you see in those houses.
Absolutely.
But in the study, we wanted that same paneled, somewhat formal look, but without totally breaking the bank and spending so much money. So it's literally drywall walls, baseboard and crown, and then it's just an applied molding from floor to ceiling, making those panels. And it still has a similar look and feel to the dining room, but achieved much less expensively.
And it's when I walk into your foyer, besides my feet, and I see your gorgeous foyer floor, that I know that you were on your hands and knees meticulously going into every single detail about that foyer floor. I can't help but look through your formal dining room and in your study and just see that it's so drastically different, but it carries the same vibe. There's nothing about it that's alike, but because you took so much time. Now again, these folks would have to do, our buyers, my clients and customers would do it afterwards. I think that's one thing that we're really, really hearing is have the builders do what they can, like the framing portion, and then do the paints and the extras after. And if you can't do it, do like I did and hire it out. And that's something where, in my it's economical to do it at the end. I saved up my money. I hired her. It looks great. So I feel like really focusing on those details and the paint inside the molding sets said molding aside.